Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duck Bricks. I'm Chris, and I'm completely taking apart my massive Lego city and building it from scratch. Why am I doing this? Well, there's three big reasons. The first one is that, I'm gonna be honest, this is a really nice big rectangular space, but I can't reach the middle of the city, I can't play with the city, I can barely interact with anything but just the very edges of the city itself. The second reason is, well, down here, I've actually got shelves and shelves full of Lego sets. Lego sets which I can't play with, I can't look at, I can't even display, I don't even feel like they're on display because the Lego sets go from here all the way to the very end of the city. So there are sets going all the way through this entire thing, and that doesn't feel that space optimized to me. Okay, let me clarify. It does feel space optimized to me, but what it doesn't feel is very much, well, on display. And that's definitely something I want to do with this Lego room, is to make sure everything is kind of on display. And the third big reason is I want to put a monorail in. I have finally enough tracks to hopefully make a monorail. I don't know if it's like actually enough, but I've got a lot of track. I'm going to give it a try. I would like to try to put a monorail in, and that's kind of impossible in its current state because I can't reach the center. So, three huge reasons. Let's see what I can do. So here's the plan. This entire building is made up of 5 key structures. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These 5 things are IKEA shelves, which are essentially just long vertical columns. What's also really cool about these is that technically there's 10, because this entire thing splits in half, 5 on this side, 5 on the other side, meaning I actually have quite a lot of wiggle room to play around with a more unique and custom layout. My idea for the city is to make it less of one monolithic block and more of kind of a maze where you can kind of walk inside the city and find your way around. I feel like it will lend itself to a much more dynamic city layout than just purely rectangular, and it also will be a lot easier to get access to all of the buildings, and it will be easier to expand in the future. Now here's the thing. I am obviously filming this right now before the plan has been executed. And as I like to say, you make the plan, you expect the plan to go off the rails, you execute the plan, and then you throw away the plan when it goes off the rails. So I am imagining that this might go horribly wrong, but here's what I need to do. First of all, the entire collection of LEGO Legend of Shima vehicles, aka all of these guys right here, basically have to go bye-bye. I will find another way to display them. I'm sure that there is wall space or sidewall space somewhere, but as of right now, I kind of need to take all of them down before I can do this. But here's the thing. This is gonna be the final step, because right now they're very nicely arranged on the wall, and what I need to do is remove everything else off of the top first. So first, I need to actually clear everything off of the top of the cupboards here, and that is probably the easiest part, because if you may remember, I've got Lego in every single row of every single cupboard area down in the bottom here. So first, I need to literally remove every single Lego item from every single one of these shelves. And that is gonna be a pretty monumental undertaking, because that is every Lego Minecraft set. That is every Lego Super Mario set. That is almost every Friends set I own. All the Atlantis sets, every single architecture set. It's a lot. And here's the thing. I have actually given myself not a lot of time to do this. I am recording this video on midnight Saturday night. Tomorrow, Sunday, well, it's actually past midnight now, so I guess later today, I've got some tennis activities going on and a lunch with a friend early in the morning, which will probably bring me up to around 2:30 or 3 p.m. That is when I will come back home, and I essentially have the rest of Sunday, 3 p.m. until I sleep, to finish this entire undertaking. That is a good, given that I sleep at around, let's say midnight, that's a good 9 hours. Now I was on LEGO Masters, and I can pull off some pretty crazy stuff in 10 hours. Specifically 10 hours. I'm actually very good at knowing what I can and cannot build in 10 hours. But this isn't building, this is rearranging, so really I have no idea. But the thing is, I've got work on Monday, and right after work, I've got some guests coming over who have never seen the Lego room before, who are really excited to see it, and I would love to be able to show them the new city when they come. But this also means that the entire room has to be cleaned up, like it is right now. It is fully cleaned up before the guests come, because I never want to have guests here who want to see the Lego room for the first time and come down and see it's an absolute mess. So I literally have, depending on how late I want to stay up now, let's say 12 total hours to pull this off, which is a lot of hours, but this is also a lot of work. So wish me luck. Here's the order in which everything's gonna happen. First is the hardest part. I am going to remove all of the Lego from the inside of these shelves here. I'm going to set them aside on the floor as far away as possible, so then I can have enough room to essentially move around whatever I want. Step 2 will be then to remove all of the buildings off of this area. Actually, scratch that. Step 2 will actually be to remove all of the Lego Legends of Chima sets. Those will also be set aside in a different area. And finally, step 3 will be to take down all of the buildings and probably put them right over there, because here is a nice wide open and empty space where I can actually lay out a ton of buildings and really have a lot of room to experiment once all the buildings are all stacked up here. So we're gonna start stacking them from there all the way coming up here and see what we can do with a layout of completely empty shelves. This is gonna be absolutely bonkers, but you wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts. Oh man, whew. So it's 2 a.m. It has taken me the past a little under 2 hours to remove everything from the insides of the shelves behind me. That does not count the Chima stuff mounted to the wall, but everything from the insides of the shelves has been removed. The Lego Mario sets, which took up about, I would say, 2 columns worth, or 2 rows worth, have actually been put into a different drawer already, so that's already kind of put away. So I suspect that, given that it'll take a little bit longer to put things back on shelves once it's set up, but I also have like an eighth of it done already, maybe a seventh, a sixth if I'm lucky, I would say it'll take me around 2 hours, maybe a little over 2 hours, to put everything on the floor back into those shelves once I completely rearrange the city. So I do need to allot, let's say 3 hours to be safe at the end of this. Oh my goodness, it feels like I'm back on Lego Masters, allotting time things to Lego related items. But now, I think that step number 2 is actually going to be removing everything from the city and putting it in the guest bedroom. I initially was going to put it down the row there. I used up so much more floor space than I thought. In fact, let's take a look at just how much floor space has been used up here, because I'm kind of in shock at just how much I was able to fit in those cupboards. So I'm genuinely pretty happy with the way I've done this. I've tried to do this in the most methodical manner possible. Basically, everything is kind of sorted by theme, so we have a lot of architecture stuff there. And then we go on to City, Atlantis, we have some other modular stuff, more city stuff, more buildings, and we have some vintage stuff, miscellaneous stuff, roller coasters here. Yeah, so that's just this one corridor. And obviously I had Lego filling all of those shelves. Look at that. That looks so weird without Lego in it. That is just so bizarre to me. And they were full all the way through. Like all the way through here. There was Lego all the way through the entire row for every single one, which is now empty. Then we've got all the Minecraft stuff here. I mean, this video might as well make it the third iteration of I made a Minecraft village by combining all the sets, because, well, here's village number 3. That wraps around all the way here. And we have a bit of a stopping point here where you can't walk across. I mean, you kind of can, but you've got some other breakage between Minecraft stuff. And then you just have miscellaneous stuff here, mostly city, and lots and lots of Lego Friends. So Lego Friends stuff here. I tried to be pretty organized in how I set these aside. So a lot of city, a lot of friends. And that's what that looks like on this side. And now I've actually also put the Super Mario sets away, because here are the taller ones. So the taller ones are taking this space up. This used to be empty. I also have filled both of these drawers with Super Mario stuff. So this is literally every single Super Mario set. There's one batch there, and there's another batch here. So these 2 drawers are full, and those basically encompassed, I would say, all of this, all of this, all of this, and all of this. So I'm actually pretty happy because I got like 4 of the rows fully squared away. So now putting them back shouldn't take that much time. Now the big question is, okay, the city, I think the answer with this is easy. I put them in the guest bedroom. The question is how I deal with this, because this actually took me quite a lot of time to set up, and they are meticulously mounted across multiple shelves. If I'm very lucky, I can try to isolate just the ones that are mounted across multiples and take that off, but I might have to take everything down, which is really, really annoying because some of these are really carefully screwed in. Like that, look at how that's held on. That's like a screw. I need to unscrew that somehow. So that's gonna be a little bit of a pain, but we're gonna start with all of these and we're gonna put them in the guest bedroom, which I think, I think we have enough space. I'll move big Lego parrot, get the chair out of the way. I think we should be fine. Like, I think I'll have enough space. We'll see, we'll push all the stuff to the side. And worst case, we can use the bed because no one's sleeping here for another day. So as long as I put it here and then put it back in a day, they will be none the wiser. My guests will not even realize that craziness happened to get this ready. So it's 2 a.m. I probably should go to sleep because I have tennis tomorrow morning, but I am going to now have 9 hours left to do it. Let's do some time estimates. I think it'll take me an hour to take everything off of here off. Add another 30 minutes is optimistic to take all these off. Hour 30 to take everything off. Let's say it'll take me another hour and a half to take apart the inner screws of the bookcases. As you can see, there are screws holding them all together. So I need to like unscrew everything methodically one by one. As in unscrew this, unscrew that, unscrew this, and then like separate this shelf out and then go one layer in. Okay, that's probably like an hour and a half. So we said what? Hour and a half, it was an hour, 30 minutes, another hour and a half to take everything apart. So that's 3 hours. That leaves me with 6 hours left in the day tomorrow, or later today. 6 hours to reconfigure this. Let's say reconfiguring is another hour and a half. So we have 4.5 left. Put everything back on the city. Let's say 2 hours. 2.5 hours. 2 hours to put all of that back. And then 30 minutes to put this on. I mean, that fits within our time estimate. It does fit. It's very aggressive. This is giving me some major flashbacks to Lego Masters where I was telling Robert like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we can do it in 10 hours, but it'll be tight. And he was like, dude, no, we can't. But let's find out and see. I will see you in a few hours. Okay, so we have done it. The entire city has been removed. All of the Chima stuff mounted on the other side of here have been removed as well. And now it's time for what is probably going to be the hardest part for me to figure out, which is how to split up all 10 of these individual components and put them in a maze-like structure to really try to give some life to the city itself. This is going to be a pretty tremendous undertaking. I'm very excited and I'm a little bit nervous because I don't really have a good sense of what it's going to look like. I have some idea in my mind of how I want to do things. Obviously, we'll take this section and that section. I kind of wanted to almost form like a U shape and then maybe have one part curve in. I'm still trying to think of what exactly the layout is going to look like. And again, we're working on pretty limited space here. This is not a ton of space to work with for shelves like these, but I'm really going to try to push us all the way up against these shelves fully outstretched. So if you like pull one of these shelves out, I want us to be right at the edge of there because I think that's really the only way we're going to be able to do it. Things are going to get a lot narrower. I will run into things in future videos as I walk past, but I think it's going to be worth it because then we can actually see the entire city and not just really only see the front and the sides from certain camera angles. So wish me luck and let's get to it. Okay, I think I've done it. Well, I can't turn back now because I have screwed everything together, but this to me feels like a much more interesting, dynamic, and happier layout for the city so I can actually be able to access all of the items and most importantly also access what's in each of the shelves because here, Every single thing at most is 2 shelves deep, which means I can stick my entire arm through and there's good visibility throughout pretty much every single part of this, which is really what we wanted to do when we embarked on this journey. So now comes the fun part. And I think that responsibly, I probably should put the items in the shelves before I actually set up the city. I think that will give me more walking area, but I also do feel that maybe there might be some of the items in the shelves that I do actually want to now put in the city if I freed up some space for more real estate. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to figure out some sort of a layout, and the way that I'm envisioning this is that we're going to have some Ninjago City stuff here. This seems to be a really good area for the Ninjago City stuff, and then we can maybe have like a dock, like a harbor side. I have so many ideas, but frankly, we are working with limited space, so I do have to be really smart about how I actually do use space. But I'm thinking if we keep this Ninjago City stuff, because that's kind of what people see when they walk in, my favorite sets, obviously, and I really do want to have a nice showcase here. Then on the inside, we can actually have some modular buildings on the inside here, facing on the outside. Again, I do want to still have the monorail going through. The train is interesting, to be honest. I don't know if it makes sense to have a train anymore, because previously, the way the train was set out was that it was really nice because it was actually a very, very easy track where it was going all the way around the circle. Here, the corners are honestly really tight, and I feel like trying to finagle a train layout into here, especially with how wide Lego train curves are, like one curve would eat up a lot of this. I feel that maybe it might be best to actually not do the train and to instead just focus on building in the monorail, which can obviously come in once the city is more or less done. So if we've got roads on this side and then buildings back to back, I feel like we could do a really nice looking monorail that literally just goes back and forth, because unlike a train, you don't necessarily need to have it be in a loop. You can just have it go back and forth one track to another and just keep switching back and forth. We could integrate some stations. I think that would be really cool. But again, we'll prioritize buildings because things that I do need to factor in, there is the new Avengers Tower coming out, which at the time of recording this video is not out yet. Depending on when I publish this, it might already be out, but at the time I'm recording this, it's not out. And I also do need the new modular, which does release on December 1st. Again, I don't know when this video is coming out, but I have a feeling that it's probably going to come out maybe around that time frame, if not shortly before or shortly after. So I need to literally leave 2 just empty spaces to plan to incorporate those in. And hopefully I won't need to do any major changes until maybe next year. I mean, if we're lucky, if we get another Ninjago modular next summer, then please, I'm happy to change around my layout for that. But realistically, we probably won't need to do any changes until December of next year, so December 2025, which sounds pretty ideal to me to just have a city set up and good to go. So let's try and do this, and this time I'm actually going to talk through some of the placements of my city as I put them in, so hopefully we can have a bit of an insight into how I'm setting this up. Let's go. Okay, I have done it. The city is complete. Welcome to New Duckbrick City. Name still being workshop. I don't know how I feel about the name. We definitely want new in it though, because this is the second iteration. And oh my goodness, I am so much happier with this layout because I can literally walk inside. There is this little cubby hole. It feels like you're engrossed in this world, and you can actually access every single building because again, the thickest that I went was 2 bookshelves thick, so I can really be able to play around. I've filled up every single inch of the streets with vehicles. Many of the ones behind me are Easter eggs and references to other licensed Lego properties and whatnot, but of course, have to include the Duckmobile from the Lego Batman movie in there as well, with the Duckbricks minifigure in there. And of course, I will do a full tour of this city at the end of the video. This is not done. This is still a work in progress. The biggest thing I want to do is a monorail, but at this point, I think that integrating a monorail into my Lego city is something that deserves a video of its own. But now, let's go ahead and do the less fun part. Putting all of the Lego sets that are now on the floor back in the shelves. In theory, there should be even more space than there was last time because I've moved all the Super Mario stuff into drawers of their own. So we will see. There's a lot of stuff to put away, but I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to put everything away on the shelves here. Let's go back and do that, and then finally get back to the tour. The mission, the nightmares, they're finally over. It is 1 a.m. I have gone a little bit past the time I was planning on actually wrapping this up, but the city is complete. The floor is 100% clean. I have not only filled all of the shelves here, I have also sorted them by theme, somehow space optimized so I have a lot more space now, and even reorganized one of the shelves over there because I had to take out all of the Diagon Alley builds, which previously were not in the city whatsoever, and put them into the city. Now, at the time of recording this, I am still missing two major buildings. Avengers Tower, which I've literally left a spot for, as well as the Modular Museum, which I've also left a spot for because they're not out yet. But let's now take a tour of the final completed city because the basement is all clean. The time has come. Welcome to New Duckbrick City. Please excuse the little bit of construction work going on here with what may or may not be a monorail being built into the city. That's a subject for a future video. For now though, I'm going to give you a tour of the brand new and improved Duckbricks City. In fact, New Duckbrick City. You start off with the Ninjago district here. The Ninjago cities are ablaze with light and they are cooking 24/7. No matter what hour of the day, time of the night, you'll always see some action happening in Ninjago City. Here we've utilized the actual official LEGO Ninjago City set from the original Ninjago movie in 2017. Then we continue onwards to the latest Ninjago City markets for Dragon's Rising. And then over here, we have Ninjago City Gardens. And as we round the corner, we bring ourselves to Ninjago City Docks. Now, what's really cool here is that obviously this is representing the merged realms. In fact, it is a crossroads of sorts. And so I've placed characters and figures from throughout the multiverse of LEGO, all of which can be found here throughout little Easter eggs. Perhaps Star-Lord is chasing a Chitauri from the Marvel Universe who has somehow found its way over to these streets. We've got a classic LEGO pirate walking the town. Of course, we have some Bionicle representation here. They have somehow bleeded into our world. And there's even some representatives from the LEGO movie in Bad Cop's Parents, but watch out because the Overlord's Avenged Stone warriors are right behind them, ready to crystallize them. Over here, we might have some stragglers from Jinjago. In particular, there is a Jin or maybe even a Genie that has made her way over from the video world, and even some Star Wars representation, where somehow the timelines have merged and stormtroopers are inexplicably fighting clone troopers, which we can see here. Even Steve from Minecraft has joined in on the fun, and there's all sorts of crazy characters hidden throughout the city, and also try to count as many ducks as you can, because I've scattered ducks all around this entire city, given that it is, of course, New Duckbrick City. Now down here, we have an entire suite of trainees. These are brand new ninja in training, wearing their training gi, but watch out because there is another faction of ninja who have come up. Nobody knows who these icy warriors serve. Perhaps they serve a master up in Cloud Kingdom, but people know that they mean business. You can see that they are fully kitted out and ready for action. Moving on upwards here, we have some denizens from the world of LEGO Monkey Kid, where you can see they have somehow made their way into the city itself. And fear not, because that is not the only Monkey Kid representation we have here. And up the skies above, we have a Dark Knight presiding over the city. But he is currently under attack by the guards and hounds of the Imperium Force, who have bleeded over from the realm of Imperium and are now terrorizing Ninjago City. Imperium dragon hunters are already patrolling the streets, and down below, danger is lurking, with the Overlord's Vengestone warriors still active. Even some denizens from LEGO City have been trying to carve out a new way of life in Ninjago City where anything can happen. But of course, right across the mystical river separating the realms here, we have some representation from Friends and Monkey Kid, because right across the street, we have Heart Lake Village, where Heart Lake City has been converted into a compact village full of beautiful buildings here, Unity Street, all sorts of interesting and unique pieces of architecture, including a downtown area here for the kitchen, as well as an entire apartment block. There's even some ice cream shops from Lego City bleeding into the world of Lego Friends. Of course, as we continue around, what's that? Is that the Avengers theme I hear? Oh yes, that is Avengers Tower, or at least one version of Avengers Tower. We can see Miles Morales preparing for his leap of faith up at the top, but just you wait, because there is a spot ready for the new Avengers Tower as soon as it moves through the multiverse and makes its way into my collection. Moving onwards, continuing through the Friend City here, we have a nice fresh market which you can enter, opening up to a much larger area of shops, restaurants, and all sorts of fun items, even a theater where you can actually enjoy some nice movies. Continuing alongside here, we come to a much more mystical and spiritual district. This is the home of the Ghostbusters Firehouse, the Harry Potter world, and all sorts of the unique characters and creatures that come with this world. Flipping around to the other side, somehow the Wizarding World has made its way into the city, with Diagon Alley being converted into a city block, with of course Gringotts forming the massive juncture here. Now as we move onwards, we move our way into the normal buildings of Lego City, where right here we have kind of the most important area, the financial district, where all of the important and government-oriented buildings are. Of course, you have the Brick Bank, but what's that? Some action on top, because the TARDIS has landed in New Duckbrick City. But of course, we have the fire station as well. We've got the police station, the town hall, the soon-to-be materialized Avengers Tower, and then we move in to the world of the MCU, where we have the Marvel Daily Bugle, which technically hasn't appeared in the MCU yet, but you can pretend that this is an amalgamation of all things Marvel, where you have superhero action all the way from the bottom to the top of the building. But what's that I hear? There's some mystical magic going on the other corner. For here we have Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, complete with a portal opening up to another dimension in the multiverse, and Doctor Strange himself hovering above, prepared to put an end to any mystical threats. Of course, as we rotate around here, what's that? There is a crazy street race going on, where all sorts of wacky and wild vehicles from across the multiverse are competing in a massive 2K drive street race. Who's at the front? Well, Speed Racer, of course, but what's that? There are two versions of Rocket Racer here. Which one is the real one and which one is the imposter? We will never know. Of course, the duck car is winning because it is New Duckbrick City after all, with the chicken car, who may actually be a duck imposter riding up right behind him. We'll see who will win the race, but notice all the Easter eggs we've scattered on throughout this massive madcap race throughout Lego City, where the police themselves have endorsed the race, actually closing down an entire section of the street to prepare for the race itself. Characters from all different worlds are colliding, cars are racing upwards at different angles. There's even some Spider-Man fun joining in, and some Fabuland representation as well, because of course, this is a race for the multiverse. But what's that row they're racing down? Well, restaurant row, of course, because here we have all of the different restaurants that you can find in the world of New Duckbrick City, where the people eating at the restaurants get to watch the exciting race from the comfort of the restaurants themselves. Here, we have the Cafe Corner. This is, of course, a majestic hotel, the original Lego modular building, but inside is a nice cafe, but watch out if you're sitting on the sidewalk, don't get run over. Now, continuing alongside there, we have the Downtown Diner here. This is kind of a more vintage style of diner, and then we get to the more classical styled Parisian restaurant, but there's even a pizza restaurant hidden around here with a jazz club as well, which is another nice establishment for both restaurants, vibes, drinks, and music. Moving alongside here, we have a detective's office, where this one seems a little bit out of place, but what exactly is the detective looking for? Well, the donut thief, of course, if you know the lore behind the Lego modular buildings, so of course it made sense to include that in the food-oriented area. Of course, Market Street is here as well for you to buy all your groceries, and then you can go on to the massive shop, the Grand Emporium, at the juncture of all these buildings. Now, continuing alongside here, we have the pet shop, we have some more modular buildings continuing downwards, and here we get to the Assembly Square. a combination of all sorts of different businesses finding their home in the world of these merged realms. Now, what's atop Assembly Square? Well, Kate Kane, Batwoman, and Batman Bruce Wayne himself are having some sort of a discussion. Perhaps they're preparing to launch into action, considering the increased criminal activity that the merged realms has found. Back behind the buildings here, we have a little downtown diner here. This is a very nice classical drive-up diner. And then over here, we have the beginnings of what will soon be a megapolis transported directly from the world of Lego Monkey Kid. Moving alongside the back here, you'll notice that there are back alleys literally forming Diagon Alley. It is very narrow to get in there, but minifigures can go ahead and fit. And as we rotate all around to the Friends District here, do notice that we have left a space for the soon-to-be transported modular museum. We can finally curve our way around into the main city area, where this is where the action is truly taking place. Right behind Ninjago City, we have some Oriental gardens. This is more of a calm and zen, relaxing, chill place to basically lay low after the excitement and hustle and bustle of Ninjago City, but watch out because not even the calmest and most tranquil spaces are safe from the Overlord's Vengestone warriors who are overtaking the city itself. Over here we have the Heart Lake Botanical Gardens, which is a beautiful little botanical garden in the modular building style, and parts of the street have even been closed down for a Spring Lantern Festival parade, where you can see the massive parade floats making their way through the city itself. Here we have a hotel for people to stay. It's a bit more of a modern style of hotel as opposed to the other one on the other corner, and we even have a downtown district of Lego City, which has transported itself into New Duckbrick City itself. Alongside here is Creator Street. Lots and lots of smaller scale creator buildings, including yet another hotel, have made their way into this street itself, and there even is the house from Up, which may take off at any second, and even some buildings from the DC universe, where Harley Quinn's cafe has somehow made its way into this city itself. Down here you can see the two different Lego truck shows driving down. Obviously, Lego is a major company in New Duckbrick City, and many fans are flocking to see what the truck show has brought them. And even down the road here, there are little bits and pieces of other buildings directly behind the downtown city street, with even a moving van carrying some new passengers from one part of the city to the next. As always, the city is watched over by the ever-present Ninjago Ninja, the guardians of New Duckbrick City. They keep an ever-vigilant watch over the crimes sprouting up in New Duckbrick City and are always ready to leap into action. Of course, with so many different merged realms, make sure to count all the different Easter eggs you can see from different Lego franchises making their way into the city itself. We've got the van from Home Alone, even some fantastical vehicles like the gyroscope, because denizens from around the world will travel in their own unique vehicles. General Grievous's wheel bike has somehow made an appearance here. There are police cars from Gotham City, flying cars from Harry Potter, the DeLorean from Back to the Future, the Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters, the Mystery Machine from the Scooby Gang. Even BTS Dynamite is making an appearance here, as well as a couple of different shield trucks, of course, from the Marvel world patrolling the area. Moving on from that, there is an armored truck transporting money going down the street, but make sure it doesn't get robbed. Of course, guarded by Black Widow on her motorcycle here. And as we continue onwards down the streets themselves, they are absolutely packed. The gridlock is almost as bad as Los Angeles traffic, and we even have 3 different iterations of the Night Bus making their way around the city, showcasing different eras of Lego, but also different universes colliding together. Even Wonder Woman's invisible jet has made it onto the pedestal here, flying above the city. But wait, there's 2 of them, and even a massive exosuit mech on the roof of one of the buildings themselves. Of course, there is a center plinth dedicated to the LEGO Masters representation in the trophy form here, with a nice printed LEGO Masters tile, which was actually part of a Walmart giveaway if you spent a certain amount of money, which was very cool. Michael Keaton's Batman is even getting in on the fun with the bat signal shining right behind him, of course standing above the police station. And now we make our way to some more of the LEGO Friends creator and city buildings, all combining into these merged worlds. And of course, this is where our tour ends, but New Duckbrick City is always expanding. There will always be new buildings, and as you can see, a construction site is even beginning to create the next modular building to be added into the new space here, and there are even empty spaces for some of the newest LEGO buildings. I can't wait to see where this city expands, and I hope you enjoyed my journey of creating a brand new LEGO city from scratch, where of course, Myself, Duckbricks, is riding right in the center of the road in my duck-themed missile car stolen directly from the Penguin's car from the Lego Batman movie. Hope you enjoyed this video, and that has been our tour of new Duckbrick City. Now, I've delayed the video putting this out for this moment because I have literally set aside a space open in the city for the massive new Avengers Tower modular, as well as the Lego City Modular Museum, which at the time of this recording was actually sent to my house early, as it was, I believe, for everybody who pre-ordered it on Black Friday weekend. So it's really cool these two sets arrived at the same time, so I can fill in the two holes in my city at once. And so now we're gonna place this in place where it should be. Boom, you're looking for this? Avengers Tower is finally installed, and yes, I did actually get it hooked up with the Technic pins after around 20 minutes of trying to squeeze those buildings together, but wow, that looks really cool in the city. Let's now move on to the next building. And here's that last item we've been waiting for, the Modular Museum of Natural History, where there is a spot wide open and waiting for it. Let's hope the installation of this one is going to be a little easier than Avengers Tower. Well, that was easy. There it is, all connected up. Ignoring the monorail construction, here is the modular museum integrated into the city. It is a little bit tight, but it is in there very nicely, so citizens can visit the museum anytime they want. And as a sneak peek for my next upgrade to the city, just like in my hometown of Seattle, a monorail is going right past and through a museum. So I really do like that touch, and that's part of why I really wanted to put it here. Of course, there's Avengers Tower in the city itself, which just looks so majestic. I cannot wait to tell so many different stories of all sorts of different characters around Avengers Tower, and there's even a Leviathan invading the city as well, which is super fun. Let's see it. And there you have it. With the final two buildings in place, the city is complete for now, because this is going to be an ever-evolving city. And y'all know the next time that LEGO releases a modular compatible building, well, I'm gonna have to figure something out because we're basically out of room, but I'm sure I can shuffle some stuff around to make some room. I hope you enjoyed this look at completely reconfiguring my LEGO city, and I hope you enjoyed kind of going through the process of what it takes to actually take one city layout and turn it into something else, because this was so much fun. And definitely stay tuned, because I actually was, spoiler alert, able to successfully integrate a full monorail course going from one corner of the city, snaking all the way around and going all the way around the back, all in one video. So that video is coming very, very soon, as well as some other updates and reconfigurations to the city itself to make it even more dynamic. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this LEGO City update, and I think the perfect way to end this video is to christen the city with a new name by popular demand as recommended in the comments. This is now New Ducktropolis City, and I think that is the perfect name for the city because in every sense of the word, it is truly a metropolis. You've got all sorts of different themes, worlds colliding together, different cultures, and this has been so much fun to make. I hope you enjoyed our look at New Ducktropolis, and stay tuned to Duckbricks for even more LEGO City updates, news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Bye for now.